I feel so strongly about the impact that EOS made on my personal and professional life, and I could cry because it was a savior for my personal life. I didn't like coming into work. Who would have ever thought that everything I'm wearing is made from upcycled plastic bottles? Storm Creek is a lifestyle apparel company we're women-owned, every style is eco-made. The market that buys most of our product is their corporations who are logoing it, also resorts, national parks, specialty retail stores, things like that. We do sell to the consumers with our online stormcreek.com, and what people are fascinated by is that they're wearing clothes made out of upcycled plastic bottles. The growth that we've experienced has been phenomenal. We needed to break through that ceiling, and we finally did. And we've probably more than doubled in the number of employees, and we've certainly more than doubled in our annual sales.
Right person, right seats, and hiring slow and firing fast has really become our mantra for the next growth ceiling and bursting through it.
People are so fed up with meetings that don't work that they roll their eyes like, I'm not going to have another meeting. And then I'd say, we should go off site and do some strategic planning. Oh, the last thing we can have is 1, 2, or 3 days off site. We can't afford that. We don't have the time.
And actually it made me think, like, how did we run before EOS? I'm genuinely curious because I don't think we got a lot done, and I think we were pretty disorganized.
Haphazard, sporadic, meaningless, agendaless for sure, zero accountability. Maybe some notes if we were lucky. Repeated a lot, same issues, too long or too short, not sure. Probably the wrong players in the room. I think it's also an added dynamic when the owners are married.
Doug and Teresa are brilliant, unbelievably talented on a consistent basis where sometimes it's hard to keep up. My ability is to understand their vision, what their expectations and clear line of sight is, and get the rest of the organization bought in on what that looks like.
Not even knowing how to articulate what our problems were. And so it's almost not until I read that book, which by the way had been recommended at least a year before I read it because I didn't have time. So I finally went on an overseas trip, and so I brought it on the plane. I finally had the time to read it, and I knew I was hooked. I knew it was the right thing. It was definitely that aha moment. And the first person I talked to, and right away, she introduced me to 4 people I should talk to because I wanted to know, there's a little part of you that's like, we could save some money if we self-implement. And, money was really tight. So it was hard to know whether or not to make that investment. So the second one that I got introduced me to who became our implementer, Matt Goldberg.
And I think that objective outside party coming in who's not in the whirlwind, who's not wrapped up in the business but can think on the business, it is so critical, and without it, I really do think it'd be a mistake.
Okay, again, remember, 2 married owners. So Matt was, I suppose, at sometimes a marriage therapist too, but an objective third party on picking that leadership team, on what areas to focus on. And so we, of course, did a lot of things through this implementer, grew a lot. It could have not ever done what we did without the implementer, but we also developed some great skills like about having those hard conversations and to having the metrics drive something versus it's not you, it's the scorecard, right? And obviously all kinds of conversations about right person, right seat in a way that just wasn't compromising relationships with people.
Having a common tongue throughout an organization, it creates better communication, it creates consistency, it creates better execution. When one person says right person, right seats, or FBA, or GWC, or any number of those acronyms, we immediately know what that means. And that drives the whole organization. It tells us exactly what we need to do, and we make decisions quicker because of it. When
we first started on EOS, it was unbelievable, the timing, because of the fact that our major customer, 50% of our business, went out of business. And with that, because of the way our industry works, there was so much work to do to ensure that people didn't think Storm Creek was going out of business, number one. Number two, they had pre-booked a tremendous amount of apparel orders, and we had to go forth and take those. You can't cancel those things. So the cost involved in all of that, really important that we stayed focused, and it was because of EOS and how we ran our business that we could successfully come through that year, and I would say unscathed, almost to the dollar. We met plan.
Once you run on EOS, you kind of feel like you're through the fog, and you've kind of you have a clear horizon in front of you, and you look back and you wonder, like, how did we get by? Like, how did we get enough done?
I know that pain of not having discovered or not having that vocabulary for what's missing or what's wrong. Like, it's like, what's wrong with me? I'm not doing this right. But it's nothing that's wrong with you. And so I'm excited just from now until the day I die. I'm going to be helping people get excited about EOS and how it can bring relief to them personally and to their business. We're Storm Creek, and we run better because we run on EOS.